How you doing, folks? Papa Joe here. I got the old haircut. Starting to think I either have to get a dog tag or get a haircut. Haircut's cheaper with taxes nowadays. Here's a little truck stop that I ain't been in it forever. Used to be a Voss years ago. And actually, what was it before that? Dadgummit, there's still a Bobber. It used to be a Bobber. Those that remember the old Bobber truck stops. But anyhow, went in there and they had men's haircuts, $5. I thought, okay, I need one anyway. Got talking to the young lady, good Christian girl. And she made my 149th subscriber. Thank you, sweetheart. Appreciate it. But I just want to touch base. As y'all know, I went home. Didn't really do a whole lot another while I was at the house. I ain't gonna lie. The last few times I've been home, it's just been chaos, and I leave home tireder than when I got there. So I got home Sunday around noonish. Left out Tuesday morning and cooked a couple meals. Cooked one Sunday night. That turned out pretty dadgum good, I ain't gonna lie. Did another one Monday night. Messed that one up. Overcooked the meat. This happens. We ate at it. Mama's taking it in the freezer, and we're gonna do something with it when I get home. I ain't sure what, but we'll do something with it. I ain't into wasting. But I wanted to also, don't you go away yet, I ain't done with you. I had another new subscriber. Says, Papa Joe, I just found your channel and I think you're a breath of fresh air. I'm tired of hearing the young kids with bad language, no experience, and stretching the truth just to get subscribers. Well, it sure ain't me. I ain't no youngin'. Had a hard time figuring out how to get my hair cut. I ain't used that bald stuff. But then again, I had a couple cousins that went bald early too. And no, I really try not to use a bad language. Years ago, I was one of the worst. I really was. And dropped the F-bomb every other word. I was bad. But good Lord changed it. I got a video that tells you he'll work on what he knows needs to be worked on. And that was one of the first things he worked on with me was my temper and my language. Now, I ain't going to stretch the truth just to get subscribers. That ain't me either. I don't sugarcoat very well. I just go ahead and lay it out there the way I see it. Either folks accept me as I am or they don't. If I need to change for people, well, then I need to change what I'm doing because I ain't going to change. I respect your wisdom, honesty, and advice. Well, thank you. I wish more veterans would share. Well, you know, there's a problem with that. There was a time that we all tried to help each other, help the new people out here a lot. And here in the last 10 years or so, maybe a little more than that, every time you try to help them, they just go stupid. And, you know, you do with your truck, I'll do with my truck, and I know what I'm doing, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, obviously you don't. You can't hit the hole. You hit the truck beside you. So, yeah, a lot of us old hands, we just got tired of trying. I mean, you know, the old saying, you can lead a, let me plug this thing in before it goes down on me. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, you know. Well, you can offer the advice. It's like Sirius Radio had the trucker channel, and I'm sure they still do. I just got rid of Sirius. I got tired of hearing it. And like this girl here saying, they talking all that smack. That ain't her words, it's my words. Whatever they was talking on the Road Dog, you got all these people calling in. And at that time, me and my buddy Pork Chop was just starting to to write a cookbook. Well, it might have been just a little bit before that. And these people are calling in and talking about making this big main ordeal meal right in their truck. You know, I mean, let's just break out the damn violins and stuff. I mean, they was fancy uptown. Now I'm sitting in my truck riding down the road saying, yeah, right. Who are y'all? You know, I just got tired of hearing all the smack on there. So I wound up getting rid of the Sirius radio. I mean, why pay for it if you don't like it? But yeah, you've got too many of these know-it-alls, 2-year wonders and 5 years been done did it all this nonsense, and you can't tell them nothing. And after a while, you get tired of trying. So that's the issue with us old people, us old hands out here. That's old in experience, not necessarily years. I can go trying to tell stories about some of the stuff I've done. Like, people have asked me to share some of my road stories. Well, I've tried to do that a few times, sitting around truck stops and whatnot. Oh, you can't do that. Excuse me? Oh, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. I done did it. Had the t-shirt, burnt it, threw it away, and don't have to do that stuff no more. Some of us, y'all don't understand, this trucking in 2016 is nothing like it was 25 years ago. And I got started in trucks, actually messing around with trucks back in the early 70s. When I ran away from home at 14 years old, I hitchhiked all over the country before I joined the Marine Corps. And back then, the truck drivers would pick you up and give you a ride. That was your best way to get across country, and you could get across country quick. So at 14 years old, I started breaking in this industry. And being that I'm 56 now, I've been around trucks for a week or two, you know, and I could tell some stories. But they think because you can't do it today that it couldn't be done. Well, yeah, we used to do it. Doing West Coast turnarounds in less than 48 hours. Oh, well, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. We used to do it quite often. You didn't have near the traffic. We wasn't harassed near as much. And we'd just get out there and keep the left door shut and get on down the road. And I've got a couple young trucker friends that's on my Facebook wall. And they was just talking the other day about leaving out of the same place with owner-operators that had these fast trucks. And yet they would get there before them or at the same time as these owner-operators. And the owner-operators was, wow, how'd you do that? In a slow truck. It's called keep that left door closed. You get on down the road. So yeah, folks, the trucking out here today is nothing like it used to be. You wouldn't believe the difference, night and day. I mean, that's why I was a holdout until just the last year or two. I was one of them out here. I didn't want this computer log, and I didn't want this, that, and the other, and I was trying to keep a little bit of resemblance of what it used to be, and I gave up the fight. It ain't worth it. It's all stacked against us. You know? Got one fella who kept telling me, you're just a dinosaur, dude. You're just a dinosaur. That kind of trucking don't exist anymore. And I got thinking about it, and he was right about being a dinosaur. The frame of mind of a lot of us old timers have got, we're dinosaurs. You can't truck like we used to. So I just need to figure me a way out. That's what I need to figure out. So anybody want to help me and give me a good way for an old fat truck driver to make a living without being in a truck, let me know. But now also the same girl, now I had already mentioned I want to do a video about logbooks, and she had asked for that in here also. I do want to take a little short and show you the basics of doing a paper log, just in case you ever have to. And yes, I have heard the stories of a lot of you new young drivers out here that don't know anything but the computer log. Then when your computer goes down, you're like, what do I do? So I'll give you some real brief basics on it. She was also asking about me doing a pre-trip. I've been toying with that one for a little while. Now, there's a couple things with doing that pre-trip. Is one, the pre-trip that you do to take your test, you're not going to be doing out here. And it's kind of like when you was at school. You learn the stuff for the test and forget it. And there's a lot of them that's going to argue with you on this, but facts are facts. You need to know the stuff in the pre-trip, but the pre-trip you do for that test, you're not going to do on your truck every morning. If it's raining, if it's snowing and all this stuff, you ain't going to do it. There's guys on the Facebook, I've got kicked out of a couple of groups for calling them on it. And they're like, oh yeah, I do that every morning. I said, you're lying. Why lie? You know, who you making yourself look good to? You? Because the rest of us ain't buying it. So I might attempt to do a pre-trip. It will be a little bit of a pain, but I might give that a whirl. But I'll do a disclaimer on it, because don't take the pre-trip that I do and think that's going to get you past the test, because it's been a long time since this old man did a real pre-trip, like the book says type pre-trip. What you'll find out is once you get out here is, yeah, you'll check out stuff, but at different times. You know, you're not going to pop your hood and check your kingpins and your crown nuts and all this stuff every morning. You ain't going to do it. Now, if you're smart, when you pull up on the fuel island and you go checking your oil and stuff, that's when you pop your hood and you check everything underneath there and make sure everything's okay. And if you do that every time you fuel, then you really shouldn't have a steer tire just fall off, because you should have caught it. You know, that kind of stuff. When you're fueling or when you walk up to your truck, you kind of do a walk around about it pretty much every time, and you just eyeball different stuff. But the true actual pre-trip that you take the test for, they don't get done. They really don't. Up in Canada, I've seen some of them do it. They're real intense in Canada on it. When I was hauling boats, we shared a yard with another boat company, and their boys did a very thorough inspection on their trailers, but that's because their trailers was junk. You know, but other than that, sitting out here in these truck stops of a morning, you'll see a few owner-operators go over theirs pretty good. They don't get super intense like the pre-trip test you're talking about. As for most of the other ones, they might turn their lights on in their four-ways and grab their hammer, thump their tires, make sure their lights are working, kind of eyeball stuff, put the hammer up and release the brakes and go. And yes, that's what I do. So, but like I said, I'm debating on doing a little pre-trip one. It won't be super intense, but it'll be something to give you an idea of what you need to learn. Let's see, I've had several people ask me about doing videos going down the road. And the only videos that I'm going to do going down the road is I'll take my phone, and I have a mount right here, and I might record, like if you go back in the archives, you'll find a couple little towns that I've done, going over Cabbage Patch. Now, I will shoot a video like that, because I just set the phone up and hit record, and I keep going. As for one of them even asked me to talk about it, no, ain't gonna do it. They have what is called a distracted driving law nowadays, And if I'm making a video and talking about what I'm doing, they can hang my butt big time, especially if something stupid happens. And it don't have to be something stupid today while making the video. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, if I have an accident and some fancy pencil neck geek lawyer is trying to get a bunch of money out of the company I'm driving for, and they find that video where I was talking and recording down the road a year ago. Well, look, he did it a year ago. How do we know he wasn't doing that today? And we all know how the lawyers are. So no, I'm not going to be making videos and talking and driving down the road. Now, my wife has even asked me to make a few more videos of different scenery and whatnot. The problem with that is I know so much of the country and I've seen so much of it. However, that being said, some of it just kind of sneaks up on you. I mean, that's like today. I took a scenic route through Oklahoma. And yeah, they do have scenic routes. They've got mountains and stuff there. And I never even thought about it until it was too late. Now, there was a day I used to take pictures all the time, and today would have been one of them where I shot 1,000 pictures. I don't really even think about it, and by the time I do think about it, it's too late. So I'll work on that. I'll try to do a little bit better on that. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover, I think. Let me see. This girl here had asked pretty much the same stuff a lot of folks did. So, let's see here. I'd like to see you do a pre-trip. Covered that. See some driving time. Kind of sort of covered that. Favorite routes and worst intersections. Well, my favorite route is the route going home. And I don't care where from. As long as it's going to the house, that's my favorite route. The worst route is US 59 leaving my house, and I don't care if it's north or south. So I'd like to be a homebody for a few years. Worst intersections, they're everywhere. Pick one. Rush hour. I mean, you know. Backup demos. Well, I've toyed with that. But it's hard for me to be out there recording this truck maneuvering while I'm in here maneuvering it. And I don't have a co-driver and don't have anybody else that I can trust to videotape it decently. I'm not going to just grab a truck driver out there and say, here, take my tablet or take my phone and record me doing this. However, that being said, I might talk to our safety guy or something at our yard and see if he will assist me in it. We'll see. That's not a promise either way. We'll see. Let's see. And then she mentioned the log books, just to name a few. So, and I already covered the log books. So there we go. Now the lines in the sand video, I want to cover this right quick. You know, I did the post and I asked for comments. So, you know, I'm not slamming nobody on giving me comments, especially when I ask for them. One old boy would tell me I ought to separate my faith videos and my trucking videos into 2 different channels. Not going to happen, folks. Once again, I'm me. My faith is part of me, just like trucking is part of me. I ain't going to separate them. Now, my buddy that got all bent out of shape and stuff and was a total ass, he didn't like it. You're welcome to leave. You know, and he left. Now, he didn't have to go onto his Facebook wall and do all the nonsense he did, which, by the way, he went on there again last night, and he's trying to dig at me. He's trying to get a little fight going for amusement. I ain't going to let the devil win. I ain't going to do it. I just ignored it. But, Nope, I can't separate God from me. God's made me what I am. He's such a big part of my life. It's terrible. Let's see. Had a few different questions there that I answered personally. So, that's about the size of it, folks. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I'm up to 149 viewers now, and let's see, how many videos do I actually have up? I forget. I really do. I lose count. Let's see here. 318 videos. What a deal. And 149 subscribers. I ain't got a clue how many countries and all that. My boy does that. Alright, 21 minutes. Hey folks, remember, God loves you and so do I. Y'all be safe and have a good evening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching my videos. I appreciate it. Share the channel, the videos, hit the like button, all that good stuff. And see if we can start getting a little bit better driving out here. If you share the videos, maybe this will reach somebody and they'll click. God bless. Y'all have a great evening now. Good night.